So I was in Goodwill the other day and I found this really cool antique chest of drawers, and it was 2 pieces. When I realized that this was 2 pieces and it was only $49.99, I had to pick this up and refinish it. Stay tuned in this video. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I did to finish this and flip this piece. When I got this piece home, I stacked it up and I realized how stunning and how huge this piece of furniture actually was. Not sure if this does it justice, but it was a giant piece of furniture. I also realized that it had a little bit of veneer damage, which meant that I couldn't sand this piece down and leave it a natural finish, which is what I originally wanted to do. So obviously you guys clicked this video and you're wanting to learn how to do this faux wood finish, so that is exactly what I did on this piece. So I got this cream or tan colored paint, which I'll link down below, and I basically mixed it with water and got it ready for my paint sprayer. I went ahead and skipped the primer coat and all of the prep steps for this piece of furniture. I figured if you're watching this, you probably already know a little bit about furniture flipping, or maybe you've watched some of my other videos. And so basically the first steps was cleaning the piece up and then priming it. And I skipped to just the finishing part since that's what I'm trying to teach in this video. And so I used this paint sprayer. Mine is a HomeRite paint sprayer. And honestly, I don't have a lot of experience yet, but I absolutely have loved using a paint sprayer so far. It makes the job so much faster and it gives you a really, really smooth professional finish, even better than the foam rollers, which in other videos I have definitely recommended, and I still do for beginners. And I even still use them some, but paint sprayer is definitely the way to go if you want to do a piece quick and you want that really smooth professional finish. But yeah, so step 1 after getting the primer done is painting with this cream or tan base coat all on the pieces. I went ahead and did 2 coats just to be sure that I would not see any of that primer peeking through. And I'm going to let you guys just enjoy this quick little time lapse of me painting this furniture. So here's what you need to do this next step. Decorative glaze in the color Java Brown by Rustoleum, just a regular paintbrush, and this is just an old throwaway brush of mine. And then this was different, a little broom and dustpan. So I got this broom and then a towel to wipe the glaze. So basically I just take my paintbrush first and brush on a decent amount of that glaze. And then I take that broom and I'm basically going back and forth, working that glaze in as good as I can. And basically you're using that broom and the stiff bristles of the broom to give you that wood grain look in like a fake wood. And I'll show an up close here in a moment, but basically this actually does look like a fake wood. And of course that's a time lapse, but I'll show it and break it down just a little bit slower for you guys. So again, you just take your brush and that decorative glaze by Rustoleum and Java Brown and just paint it on. And so I focus more on the details of the piece and paint it on there first. And then I do a couple long strokes on the big flat surfaces, which you're going to just spread it out anyways with that broom here in just a second. So after you get all of it painted on, next, you take that small broom and you basically just work that glaze back and forth until you get it into the finish and the amount of glaze left on the piece that you want. And so I'm not sure if that makes sense, so I'm just going to let you guys watch me do it. But yeah, just working it back and forth with those stiff bristles. And I'll show an up close at some point, I think we do. But yeah, basically you're just going to keep working that glaze. And this is kind of like an artsy thing, and I'm not an artist at all, but it really is. It can be as much detail or you can be as picky as you want to be with it. And so, I mean, I've found that the more you look at one certain spot, you will just realize that like, oh, I can make that look better, and you'll work on it and work on it and work on it. But at some point you just gotta say, okay, that looks pretty good, and move on to the next spot. But basically, yeah, you just work this glaze back and forth, and then you saw me a second ago, I take that rag, which can be dry or damp, and I use that to wipe off any excess glaze. So basically, if there's one spot of the dresser that looks darker than any other part of the dresser, that means it has too much glaze, and so I basically just wipe it with that rag, and then I will go back in and put some wood grain lines back in it with that broom. So that's me doing that here because it was a little too dark. And here's a little bit of up close what that wood grain look is actually going to be like. And after you get all of the piece glazed and brushed out exactly how you want it, the next and final step is to clear coat. And so if you've seen my videos before, this is nothing new. I use this water-based poly by Varathane, and I actually decided just to go ahead and brush this on because it was such a small piece and or such a small base piece. And then even the larger piece was just so big to take out and spray. I just decided it's way quicker for me just to brush it on, and that's okay because this stuff is self-leveling. So I brushed on a couple coats of that, and then time to add the hardware back on, which I actually just painted the knobs to match the rest of the finish. And here's the final look. I think that this piece turned out beautiful. Of course, I wish that I could have sanded it down and refinished in the natural wood, but if you have a piece that you can't do that with for whatever reason, I think this is an incredible alternative. It's a good faux wood look, and it honestly really does look like wood. When you get up close to it, you can see the wood grain. I ended up selling this piece for over $500, and I only paid $49.99, so I would say this flip was an extreme success. I hope you guys can take advantage of this kind of finish and use this on a piece in your home or a piece that you're flipping here soon. And make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment below with what you guys want to see next.